All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And as always, big shout out to Senjin Boychuk for that amazing intro song. It's great. And with us today is special guest Corey from the Oiltrash
Koty.
Podcast. Cody. See, told you, man. Told you,
No,
I'm
it's okay.
horrible. I'm
Yeah, no,
horrible, dude. If it's not written like in front of me, it's like damn. But
yeah.
it's Corey. It's Corey. Corey.
Koty.
Cody.
Yeah,
Cody. Okay. With a
Koty.
D.
With
Corey
it,
with a
with
D
it.
instead of an R.
It's actually spelled really weird. It's Koty. I think I've only met one person in my life that had it spelt the same way. So it's a real. I don't know. It's different. I don't know if my
I'm
parents were dyslexic or drunk when they signed the papers, but
I'm going to remember that by Cody with a K. And
yeah.
that's how I remember. Dude, I'm horrible with names, and I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm the worst. I'm good with faces though. For some reason, I could pick your face out if I seen it 20 years ago, just for like a split second. But
Nice. That's good.
yeah,
Yeah, hey, I'm pretty good like that too. It's like I definitely met this person before.
yeah, right.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Yeah, yeah,
So
buddy's
we
the
have
go-to.
Cody with
Yeah.
the Oil Trash Podcast. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
well, I was actually when I got this podcast up and going, I was like searching the niche, right? I was
Yeah.
searching like with the podcast pages, and I was like, all right, well, oil field, right? Oil field podcast, and yours popped up, and
Yeah.
lo and be, hey, you're not actually not that far from me where when I'm in Fox, right? So
Oh yeah. Yeah. White court.
yeah, yeah, man, and hey, shout out to Fox Creek and surrounding area right now because they're
Mhm.
not doing so hot. And I heard, Swan Hills got evacuated.
Yep.
And you know
Saw that
what's next,
yesterday.
right? You
Yep.
know what the next place is, right? So in the order of things, it is White Court where all the evacuees are going right now.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah. It's pretty rough. We've had the fire at Shining Bank's been going like steady nonstop, and then up by Entwistle. So they're just all around us basically,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just like closing in.
Do you know the camp at kilometer 3 there, up the North Road, the Horizon North camp?
Which kilometer? Big Stone or
The Isaacin.
the Ioskin.
The
No,
Isaacin.
no, no.
Well, there's a camp at kilometer 3, and today that I heard, originally I had heard that the camp was gone, but it's still intact. The
Okay.
Facebook page came back up, said, "Hey, the camp is intact." I know the fire is 2 kilometers away from town right now,
Yeah.
and the last I heard, it was moving at 44 meters per minute.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and
It's
there's
just
another one up on the Tony. There's one up on the Tony right now too, and that's our camp. We have our own camp, which is
yeah.
on 43, but the Northwell Rack site, pretty much, which is on the other side of the Big Stone. And but as the crow flies, where that fire is burning it, all it has to do is come kitty corner a little bit, and that's our camp.
Yeah, it's devastating stuff that's going on for sure.
Yeah, we're trying to raise money right now on TikTok. We got a couple of the local companies in Fox Creek that have agreed to jump on if and when we can get this off the ground. We'd have to open up a separate bank account, obviously, and we want to raise money for the
Yeah.
evacuees because from what I've heard, after 7 days, and they've been evacuated for 11 now, going on 12. After 7 days, the government no longer covers their hotel.
Really.
They're a lot of them are on their own now, and they got
Wow.
$1,200 or something like that. But the Allen and Jean's center there,
Yeah.
they are feeding them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
the
at least
Alton
their
team's been
meals.
pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They've been taking a lot of evacuees and donations. A lot of people from White Court have been donating there. So
yeah, that's good. That's good.
yeah,
I'm not from Fox. I don't live in Fox. But I've spent the bulk of my time there the last 5 years. You know what I mean? I'm there more than I am home.
yeah,
Right. So we all joke around about Fox Vegas and how nobody wants to go there. But the truth is, it's given my family and I a way better life than I ever thought I would deserve. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And Fox Creek has been good for that. So, and I can't I myself don't have anything on the line there. I don't have a house to lose,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But you know there are lots of memories, which is not a house. So I'm right there with them, but I can't feel for with them, right? I can feel for them, but not with them, right? Can
Yeah,
that's a whole new stress. So
yeah, no, for sure, 100%.
yeah, man. So what are you up to, man? Like how did this oil trash podcast start, and like why? Like
Okay, so I guess Oiltrash Podcast was like it started kind of just like my brother and I actually just bullshitting, being like, we should start a podcast, blah, 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 blah. This was a couple years ago, and we always talked and talk a lot of shit, right? So it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And every net like I'm a bad for hyper focusing on something. So when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this, it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do this. And I hyper focus to a certain point, and then I just level out and I'm like, yeah, I'm bored now. So I
okay.
ended up doing an episode with my brother, and we had a good old friend who passed away afterwards, sadly, Adriano. He was on the Real Canadian Joes, the TV show there, hunting show. So he was on there. So we did that episode, and we ended up getting like so absolutely annihilated trying to do this episode that it came out, everything was wrong. So we ended up scrapping it. We paused for a while, and then I just remember being like, you know what, I just got to do something with the podcast. So I did 10 episodes, first season. Um, Last year I just ended around April. And yeah, kind of just like spur of the moment kind of stuff, but it ended up gaining some traction. People really enjoyed it. So like I said, 10 episodes. I kind of got bored after the 10th episode, and then I was like, let it go for a while. And just maybe about a month or two ago, I started getting into TikTok a bit, and I was like, you know what, like I'm so sick of my life. I'm sick of working the grind every day, right? You know the oil field, right? It's
Yep.
just grind till you're dust, basically. And like I'm doing rig moves, sometimes 4 rig moves a week, and you're just like living on the road, and I kind of getting sick of it. So I was like, how can I start making some money online? How can I just make anything online, or even just something, right? Put my efforts towards something. So I got back into it. I started doing the TikTok thing and making some TikTok videos, started getting a little bit of traction. And then now here we are, just getting ready, getting set up for season 2. I got a few changes this season. I'm going to have an actual guest co-host, and so he's going to help me out with that. And I'm also going to have the metaphorical guy in the chair, or whatever you'd call it, right? So
Yep.
I've got a team put together. It's going to be and it's setting up to be a really good season, especially with you going to be on there like that.
I'm stoked. I'm
Yeah,
stoked, man.
no,
I like going on podcasts.
right?
Like
Yeah, they're fun.
I love it. I've been going on
Yeah.
podcasts now for almost 2 years.
Oh, nice.
Anytime, man. I like listening to them, right?
Mhm.
And then when I started the whole TikTok thing, right, and it blew up. I didn't know it was
Yeah,
gonna go that way. And then all of a sudden, people are like, "Hey, come on, a podcast and talk about this journey you're on, this
yeah,
crazy." And I'm like, dude, yeah, I love talking about myself. Why not,
right?
right? And it
Yeah.
started with the Blue Collar Interviews podcast. I don't know if you heard it with Chase Barber and Jordan Willie. I've had them on. I was part of another podcast last year, and so we had them on there, and I'm gonna have them on again. We've talked about it for sure. They're amazing. Those guys. They have a great podcast, Blue Collar Interviews.
Nice.
That was my first one, and also my second one, because I
Mm.
went on again a couple months later, and then the Second Act podcast. We've had them on the show here, and I've been on a couple that didn't make it out to air. Like, I think the podcast folded before my episode came out, and which
Oh, okay.
which is always like a risk, right? Because they say if you can get to episode 20 or 21, you're officially formed a habit, and you're here, right?
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
and
don't
you're
never heard that. I'm getting there.
hey, man, this will be episode 21 or 22 with bonuses. I think 23 or 24.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, man, it's and I got another bonus episode coming up here. Actually, I wasn't gonna drop it on that day, but the conversation steered towards mental health so
Yeah.
much, and it was coming out June 6th. We're gonna drop it June 1st. Enter Mental Health Awareness Month, Men's Mental Health
Mhm.
Awareness Month, with a good mental health awareness episode. So
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, man.
No, that's actually, yeah, that's something that plays close to home too, is mental health. Like it is like, yeah, like it's especially for men, you don't really talk about it much, right? Like it's kind of
No.
like a taboo subject. You just oh yeah, no, don't be a pussy, metaphorically, right? Like, or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like, suck it up, man. Go to work, get it done. But there is a lot that you know, we just give and give and give and give and give. And then it's like, when are we going to take time for ourselves to just do something to make your mental health better? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how TikTok started for me, right? Because
Yeah.
it was at the beginning of the pandemic. I've told the story lots. It was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was working 6 months at a time because at the time I was living in Ontario and I couldn't fly back and forth that easy, right? Because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I stayed in for 6 months at a time, and when I went home, it was like less than a week at a time, right? So
Yeah.
there was 2 years where I spent 20 days at home,
Yeah.
and that was hard mentally, right? And I needed something to focus my energy away from work.
Yeah.
So the podcast, not the podcast, TikTok, right?
Mhm.
So it was a way to channel that energy. I spend so much time here. What are things that I hear, things that I see, and things that I say myself as the blue collar oil field worker? And
Yeah.
how can I make fun of that? How can I make fun of the situation, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people think that, oh, you're the type of guy who says this stuff and you're the reason why we don't want to work here. No,
Yeah.
man, I'm the type of guy that's had it said to me. Yeah, sure, I've said it, but out of
Yeah.
culture, it's the culture,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so, I've said it, I've had it said to me, and I've lived it. So I'm joking around about it. Is it right? No, not necessarily. But like, I'm gonna poke fun of it because I'm in the situation and all I can do is laugh. If I'm going to
Exactly.
be miserable about it,
Yeah.
it's just going to make my entire hitch miserable,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I joke around and it turns out, everyone's going through it. Everything's going
Oh
through
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
thing and so many people can relate. And it's not just oil field.
Yeah.
It's blue collar in general.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely. No, I love your TikToks, man. I think they're hilarious. Like, some of
thanks,
them are
man.
just fucking awesome. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm trying to do too, is like the comedy stuff. Like, I've got it. I just like I just cuz like I don't have near as many followers as you. Like, you're like just a tank out there rolling around. I've got like yeah, like I'm at 1100 or something, right? Like, slowly growing, but yeah, I definitely kind of like what you do, and inspire a bit from you and your TikTok, if that makes sense. So
Well, I
yeah,
appreciate that, man.
nice.
All it takes is one video. You know what I mean? One video,
Yeah.
boom. Well, I don't know if you've been watching the oil field TikTok scene lately, but we have Tyler Allison in Alberta.
Mhm.
He makes those videos about like, here's how much you can make working in the Alberta oil
Yeah,
field,
I
or
have seen him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tyler's killing it, And
Yeah.
then you got that level up guy. I can't remember
Oh,
Cole
yeah,
Hewitt.
yeah.
Cole Hewitt.
Level up. Yeah, Cole, or what
Yeah,
is, I think, is that's
yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
yeah, that's
and I think those
he
two are
was
kind
similar
of
to
having a
me.
back and forth right now, or something like that.
Yeah.
And like I think I've told them both to ignore it because like we're trying to our niche is already looked down upon, right?
Yeah.
Or like the oil field, oil and gas industry. If you add beef to it, it doesn't look good.
Mhm.
And then there's the fact that we're essentially getting away with having our phones out on site
I know.
and making videos, and they're allowing it to happen because of the labor shortage and how they see the comments, hey, where can I find a job, where can I find a job, hey, are you hiring? And they're allowing it to happen as long as you don't really show too many logos or anything like that. My company allows me to show the logos of the stuff because
Yeah.
we've gotten work out of it, right?
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
So they allow that. But remember 5 years ago, even 3-4 years ago, no phones on site,
Yeah.
don't post a damn thing, right? And now it's like nobody cares. I've had consultants and safety guys walk over to me and be like, hey, can I hold the phone for you? You want me to do this? They think it's funny. They love it.
Awesome.
And so it is good. But if we start arguing amongst ourselves and in the oil field niche, oil and gas niche, and we start shining a bad light on it, I
Yeah.
could see that ending. I could see them being like, hey, no phones on site, guys. This is
Yeah, I
causing
don't,
beefs. This is causing someone's
yeah.
gonna get hurt. So
Yeah, I don't want
let's
some of that drama kind of stuff.
yeah. So and you can start to see like the effects of what we've done here, right? In the last 2.5 years of shining a bright light on a once dark and gloomy industry, right? An industry that's looked at as no fun, right? No fun, very
Yeah,
serious.
yeah,
You come to work and there's no cameras on the inside. No one can see what we're doing, so no one knows if they should apply or not.
yeah,
And we're doing that, and look what's happening. You got oil field companies are catching on, and they have their own TikTok accounts.
yeah,
Horizon Drilling,
yeah.
PD,
PD,
Enzyme,
yeah.
Octane Safety. Octane Safety was like episode 3 or 4 on my podcast here. So, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
yeah. So what we're doing is working essentially.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
yeah,
it's like you said, it's gaining traction, gets more business for the companies too, if it's done in a good way, I guess.
absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah. I was gonna actually kind of talk about your new format you got going here. Um, I'm not trying to like, I guess, stir the pot or anything like that, but I had a co-host on my last podcast, and
Yeah.
there's a reason why it's a last podcast, right?
Okay.
Like make sure you guys are on the same page.
Yeah.
Make sure you're okay, with certain things. Make sure you guys, it gets hard, right? It gets
Yeah.
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was any which person's fault,
Yeah.
but like, man, like having a co-host is hard, right? You don't get to run the show. It's not you calling the shots all the time, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You gotta then when you have a guest on, right? You gotta work around 3 people's schedules, right? And
Oh man, it's difficult. Yeah.
yeah, and then there's the thing, and like I said, hey, I hope you have an amazing co-host experience, dude, because like there's a lot of podcasts with co-hosts, right? And it
Yeah.
works out fantastically. Make sure you guys both want this, right?
Yeah.
Because and make sure like if you want to quit but he doesn't, right? You know what I mean? Or if he wants to quit but you don't, then
Yeah.
which way do you go there, right? Is it the same thing? Is it yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah. I think so the guy who I picked for my co-host, he was actually on the first season twice. He was there for 2 episodes. He was my first episode and he came on fifth episode. And he's been one of my like a good like best friend since we were little. So I remember when we were young, we actually made our own like we were such nerds, but we would like record our own radio shows and stuff and make our own TV shows and film ourselves. Yeah, so we were like real ridiculous kids like that. Made our we had a episodes called Terry Springer because his name's Terry. So it was like I think I picked the right one. So we've done we bounce really good together. It's like you said, the whole trying to sync up days off with him and then with our third guy who's going to be the guy in the chair, like it's like a friggin' nightmare already. Like I wanted
Yeah.
to start mid-April. I wanted to start recording and we just recorded the pre-game episode, which is just kind of like a pre-season 1 episode, kind of talking about what we're getting into,
Yeah.
all the new stuff that's going to happen. We recorded that, I think, just on the weekend, actually. So it has
Nice, man. I can't wait to hear it.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, again, want to figure out when you'll be available so that we can either make you the first guest or what we'll do there and
Whenever, man.
go from there. Perfect.
Whenever, man. Whenever you want, you just let me know. Give me a heads up, and my schedule, as you know, is unpredictable, right?
Yeah,
So, hey, when I'm available, and I'm definitely down. You know what I mean? Usually
yeah,
at night around this time or whatever, or sometimes if I get lucky and get off a little early,
yeah.
right? It's awesome. The one day I got off at like 3 o'clock, I recorded 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, smart.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
smart.
shit. I had 7 in the chamber at one point, man.
7, yeah.
I had
Nice.
7 in the chamber, dude, and that is crazy. I actually had to stop recording for 3 or 4 weeks there, about a month, because I'm like, I gotta let these clear out, right? I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
let them clear out, or like we're
Too
gonna get
much
too far
space.
ahead, and Buddy's gonna reference something that happened like today, and you're not gonna hear about it for 3 months, right? And it's like, oh fuck, yeah, no, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, the podcasting game's a whole different kind of game too, hey?
It
Like just
is.
like you were texting me and you're just like I said, "Oh man, I'm so sorry yesterday." Like it just got busy and then yeah, and you're just like, "Hey, that's the name of the game, chasing people around." It's like it literally is. You're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
are you available? Hey, are you available? Hey, are you available?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it literally is. Podcasting is literally like it's a cat and mouse game.
It
Essentially,
is.
it
It
is,
is.
man.
Yeah.
It's sometimes exhausting, and I've gotten pretty lucky so far.
Yeah.
Right, with the last podcast I was part of, we only made it to episode 10.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
so but I think it was sliding off the rails a little bit before that. But so we didn't exactly run into a whole lot of those problems, maybe once, and it was kind of like, okay, well, what do we do here, right? And
Mhm.
for this one, like as I go on, I had a certain guest in mind, a certain person for number one. I wanted a certain person to be my number one guest, but he's always busy.
Yeah.
Right. And so, my number one has right now we're 23, 24 episodes in, and I still can't get him. Right. We
Really?
talk all the time. We're
Yeah.
friends. We're
Yeah.
friends. I just can't get him. Right. He's
Yeah.
busy. And I understand that. And you know what? So podcasting is a lot of that. It's like, okay, what's my option B?
Yeah.
What's my option C? Right.
Yeah.
And it's it's really interesting because my option C turned out to be like, damn, I'm glad this was option. I'm glad option C turned into guess one. That was
Yeah.
sweet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and we've had some pretty good ones, and so far I've had to deal with one person's agent, which is
Oh,
crazy.
really?
Yeah, it's crazy. And they're coming on, and they said yeah, but they said they were going to come on, like I think it was scheduled for like 2 weeks ago, and they've been busy. I get it. They've had issues. I've been following their Facebook thing, and they're
Yeah.
just swamped. So it happens when it happens. You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
podcast isn't going anywhere. I have no co-host. I have no issues.
Yeah.
No, I had nothing but time.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
this is my baby, and I'm here for the long haul.
That's right. And you treat it like a baby too, hey? It's almost like it's fun to watch it grow. And when you start actually getting like people are like, "Oh yeah, listen to your fucking show." It's like, "Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Like I appreciate
Yeah.
that." Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun. There's a guy in Malaysia. Shout out to him. I can't remember his name. I think it's Josh. See, I'm bad with names.
Yeah.
He actually lives in GP, but he works on a platform rig out in Malaysia. And he's told me he was listening to the podcast, and he's turned everyone on the platform onto the podcast, and
Nice.
it's kind of cool, man. You know what I mean? And I haven't met too many people that have said, "Hey, you know what? Great episode last night." But
Yeah.
everyone talks, "Hey, TikTok, I love your videos," right? And it's like, cool. Have you listened to the podcast though? Right?
Yeah.
And I talk about it on live whenever I go live. I'm like, "Hey, episode 17 comes out today or dropped today, and hey,
Yeah.
guys, don't forget to go check it out." Right? So we do that, and then I'm all over the Facebook pages, the Facebook podcast pages. I just
Mhm.
I harass, if you want to call it
Nice.
harass. I
Yeah.
harass the Facebook pages. I like post my
Yeah.
links everywhere. I'm like, hey, check this out, check this out. Um, Actually, the podcast, for the first time, I was really busy yesterday and when it dropped. And for the first time, I wasn't there right away to be able to post the links out everywhere. And I
Okay.
was a little worried about it. And so I got around to it a little bit later in the evening, but not too much. And then I started to today. And when I went to go look at the podcast for yesterday, the numbers actually it's taking care of itself. So
That's
all that
awesome.
work I've done in the beginning,
Yeah.
people are just maybe they have it like notification set being like, hey, you know what, like, hey, this podcast is now out. So
Yeah.
all the work I've done in the beginning is starting to pay off. So I got to keep doing that work. But if I don't get around to it right away, it's not the end of the world.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like yeah, and I like what is this that you're using here? Because it's not Zoom or anything. Hey, it's a
StreamYard.
StreamYard. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd never heard of it until you brought it up, and I was like, what the heck is
Yeah,
that?
it's pretty cool. You can do everything
It
here.
is.
You can live stream right from here. Like you can
Oh,
live
okay.
stream to Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, not an Instagram, Twitter. You can
Nice.
live stream if you want to live stream the podcast. I had a plan to do that once a month for a little bit, but like I've done it 3 times so far
Yeah.
since January. So, I had Uncle Hack on and his was live streamed.
Nice.
Gord from the Second Act podcast was live streamed, and Ed the Sock was
I
live
was
streamed.
I was just gonna ask about Ed the Sock. How was that?
That was a lot of fun, man. It was a little different than what I expected it to be, but I don't do my homework, right? And Ed the Sock, I did a little bit of homework. I don't know. Have you ever listened to the podcast at all?
I kind of just catch the clips. I just honestly super busy. I want to catch a couple episodes, but I got to do it in the right time, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm the same way. I've listened to you. I listened to, I think, one of yours, right? It was the first one. It was the first one.
Oh, right? Like that's the worst one.
Whatever. It wasn't that bad.
The 10th is the best. Is like as it progresses, it's like, oh, I finally found my voice around 10 when I stop.
You start honing your craft, right?
Yeah, you do. You really do.
The average podcast lasts, I think, like 10 to 15 episodes or something like that before they call it quits, right? It's because, they get tired of not growing. They get tired of not having any listeners. And when I follow the podcast Facebook pages, I notice a lot of people are like, hey, I have 30 downloads in like 50 episodes. Really? How do I get more? What am I doing wrong? And someone's like, well, good, 30 downloads, right? And it's like, wow, okay. Well, here, and then I suggest, I'm like, hey, get on TikTok, get on Instagram, start those pages, share it to LinkedIn. I share it on LinkedIn. I share it everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it works. You know what I mean? Like,
growing social media is like a full-time gig almost. It's a lot of effort goes into it. Like people don't think that content creators need, and people are just like, oh, you're just sitting scrolling on your phone. It's like, no, it's there's a lot to it. Like,
man,
bouncing back and forth between everything, coming up with something that's relative, like you said, to people that they can actually feel or connect with, coming up with comedy, like there's a lot to it. Then trying to go into get everybody lined up, like to do a podcast or anything, right? It's like it's a lot of shit behind the scenes that people don't really
well, the last 6 months I've been smashing out like pretty good videos, and I've been hitting the FYP quite a bit, and like I've had a couple million view videos, one that's at 3 million right now, and I've been doing pretty good. But the last couple weeks, man, the last 2 weeks here, I've kind of stepped back a little bit from posting and even watching. You can even tell that I haven't watched much, right? That's just you need that break. You need it, right? I'm almost 3 years into this. It'll be 3 years this August. I'm 3 years into it. And this is like my first kind of sort of like I need a breather, right? And that's because it's not that I'm out of ideas or anything. It's just that, man, 100 hours a week at work, and then family time, and getting back. Podcast is now going, and where do you get time to sleep? Where do you get time to relax? I watched hockey for the first time in the playoffs this year, until the Leafs were eliminated. I didn't watch any movies or TV for 2.5 years.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on in the movie scene. I watched 911. I watched 2 seasons of 911 in a week. Right. And I was like, oh, wow. So I wasted time there. But like,
are the Avengers still a thing?
Dude. When my wife's like, hey, have you seen this? I look at it like, no, when did that happen?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what? Man, like literally my whole life, it has basically become like, hey, content creation. And not to mention, like I've turned it into a small business as well, right? So like the merch and sponsors, Alberta Strong, Heat Waves. And speaking of sponsors, I don't know, is this a good time? Let's do it.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right. This podcast is brought to you by the Mudman Market. www.mudmanmarket.com for all your drilling fluids and laboratory equipment needs. And it's crazy, man. Dude, I can't believe we're sponsored. Like, that's insane.
That is pretty amazing, actually. Yeah, when I watched your one TikTok, because I watched the On the Throne and I follow Dick Frost as well, right? So And yeah, I seen that you're sponsored, and it was like, got me this mic and this headphones. I was like, that is so sick, man. Like, that is
Yeah.
amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
he messaged me and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, I was listening to the podcast, and from around, I want to say episode 8 it started, because I was having a lot of
Yeah.
audio issues up until about episode 8, and then I was using my AirPods, right? And then I started using the plug-in headphones, and that changed everything,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, I went on to see what you were doing on the video, and you got plug-in headphones. He's like, that's smart. He's like, I want to sponsor the podcast. Uh, Obviously, you need some equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Man, here I am. I
Yeah.
need a headset and I need a mic. That is where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
And perfect. So we worked it out. We're working it out, and the podcast already sounds better. It already, usually I have the ring light there, so it looks better too. But I went out on the road here. I'm in Boyle right now, and we're only here for 3 days. So I didn't want to pack all my equipment. I wasn't even gonna pack this stuff, but I'm like, what if a podcast just spontaneously erupts? You know what I mean? And here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I have a little portable setup that I bring usually, so I run the Roadcaster and all road equipment. So, but yeah, I got rid of like the boom stick and stuff and just went with this tiny little mic stand. Seems to be a little easier, but
It works for you.
yeah, portable stuff. Like I used to have kind of, because when I had my fifth wheel, that's where I had it set up, was out in my fifth wheel. So I had everything done right up and it was nice. And then I got rid of the fifth wheel. So then I had a room in the back of the addition in the house. And then, of course, the old lady was like, no, you can't just use this whole room for your podcasting anymore. We got kids.
Did you see the picture? Yeah. Did you see the picture of the little like studio my wife set up for me under the stairs?
No, I didn't see that. That's awesome though that she's thinking of you like that. That's so sweet.
Well, like, yeah. So I was recording at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
And I was waking my kids up, right?
That's where
so she's like, "Hey, we need to find somewhere else for you to go."
Yeah.
So like she set me up underneath the stairs like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And like, dude, it was kind of crazy how it worked. Like my kids have like a toy bin down there, and I set the mic up on the toy bin, and then I was like trying different angles and stuff. I'm like, this is gonna work. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Couldn't even hear me. So.
Oh no.
Perfect. No, like they couldn't hear me upstairs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They couldn't. That's perfect. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
We're going to I think for season 2 we're just doing it at my buddy's house because he's like a bachelor. He's got the whole open trailer.
Living the dream.
Yeah, we're just doing it there because it was like you don't have people hanging around that you don't want to like annoy and frustrate. So
yeah.
But again, it's syncing up days off.
Yeah.
So we might get one episode a month. We'll see.
Well, hey, man, you know what? Like, hey, honestly, if that's what you can do, that's what you can do. Like right now I'm doing one a week, and like,
yeah, it's
so far not bad.
Though, like I was having a hard time because that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna do one a week. Every Monday morning, I'd do my episode Sunday night, record it, edit it, post it for Monday morning. So when everyone's driving to work to Fox from Whitecourt, they're usually about 45 minutes to an hour long. People could just listen to it while they drive to work. And then, yeah, it was like, holy fuck. Like, hey, are you on days off? Are you on days off? Which one of my guests is on days off this week? None. Okay, crap. So now we're screwed. So,
sorry.
Oh, no, that was basically it.
I actually have a guest in mind who him and his wife I want on at the same time. They're both blue collar and they both work away. Right. Oh. And it's really hard to get them on together at the same time. And right now they are on days off together right now. And I think we have it set up for like this weekend, I believe.
Perfect.
And and it's gonna be interesting. They are really funny. They're out of Saskatchewan, and I've met her when we just happened to be working in the same town last summer or 2 summers ago, maybe it was, I don't remember, but we were in Fort Mac at the same time. She was actually staying right behind me. Okay. And I didn't see the video she tagged me until the next day.
Yeah.
And him and I have been working at trying to meet up for like 2 years, right? And him and I always seem to miss each other by about 12 to 24 hours.
Yeah.
And the one time he was in the same town as me, he couldn't stop. He's like, man, we're coming here, we're dropping this, and then we gotta go. And I'm like, that's cool, man. It'll work out when it works out, you know.
Yeah. Do you find that you like to do you any live podcasts with like your guests like in the same room and stuff?
Like when I live stream them?
Or just like, I just mean like, do you ever have your guests just in the same room as you kind of thing? They come to your place and you guys do it?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay.
I want to. I just don't know
Yeah.
how that works. I don't know how that would work out with one headset, one mic, right?
Yeah, you'd need a bigger interface or whatever you call it for
Well,
more.
I got this, right?
Oh, that's same thing that I've got, like, basically is this. So you've got multiple inputs and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Man, the energy of doing like a in-person one with people is like so yeah, it's hard to explain because you're just like pumped. Like, I don't know. Mine, it's the only time that I get to visit with anybody. So we end up, it's always like we're always having beers, hence why I'm just like, oh, podcasting, drinking beers time.
Yeah.
Crushing. And then it's like, so the atmosphere gets a little wild when you're just doing it with like in person. But like, which this is great too. But yeah, you'll really like doing, and then you'll be like, oh, I'll kind of want to do that all the time because it is fun.
Well, the podcast is named after my I don't know if you've seen it on my main TikTok account, because I got two TikTok accounts. I got Frosty V 2.0 and then I got Dick Frost 89, which was like throttled back because I talked a little bit of politics on there like a year and a bit ago, and I was joking around. But like, anyway, I got reported and whatever, yada yada yada. And so the growth on that kind of stalled out for a while. It's growing a little bit now, but I got a series on there called On the Throne with Dick. Right.
Yeah.
And I literally sit on the shitter and interview other people that are on the shitter. Like,
that's like class. Like, I just love that. Like, that's gold. That's comedy gold right there.
It's a lot of fun, right? And I haven't done one in a few months, but like, you know, when the last podcast folded, right, and I spent months, I had to lick my wounds a little bit, so I stayed away from podcasts, didn't listen to them, didn't even think about them. So, you know, I knew it wasn't done though. I knew, okay, I'm licking my wounds, I'm coming back. Podcast is gonna be there, and I'm trying to think of a name for the podcast, and I'm like, man, I don't know, what the hell? What am I gonna name this thing? And I'm like, dude, I have $1 million idea right there. I literally have like that. I can't. It's an interview that I can't do more than a minute, right? So like, I gotta ask my questions fast. They gotta answer them fast, and I gotta put them out. So what better to call it On the Throne with Dick, the podcast, right? Like, you know, I can interview people. So far, none have happened on the shitter, but that's in the works. We've already planned one like that. But like, so far, none of them have happened like that. But you know, like, man, I've had almost 3-hour long podcasts, right? So like, you know, I get to ask all the questions. We get to banter back and forth, shoot the shit, you know, and like, dude, why the fuck not, right?
Yeah. You imagine sitting on the shitter for 3 hours just doing your ass would be so sore. Oh yeah.
Well, I sit in there anyways that long when I'm at home, right? I gotta hide from the family somewhere.
The hiding spot, I can't even hide in the shitter from my kids. Like, that's like, you'll be in, all of a sudden it's like a little piece of paper comes sliding under the door. It's just like, I'm hungry. So, well, I'm obviously busy at the moment. Like, figure it out.
Well, my wife's the default parent. They don't want nothing to do with me, right? So like, it's when I am home, they bother me a little. They don't bother me. They come to me a little bit, but like for the most part, it's her, right? And I understand that. I'm gone a lot, but when I am home, she's kind of like, hey, you need to, like, I know they might not like it, but you just need to do it, right? They're gonna cry, whine, just do it.
Yeah. So how many kids do you have? Two? Was it? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, from your TikToks and stuff, I thought you had two.
Yeah, I try to add them in quite a bit when I'm home there. You know, it's something that, you know, my daughters, they love to watch my videos. So like, you know, when I'm home, I try to include them in them, right? They love watching themselves, right? So
it's exciting for them, right? I've got 4 kids, so it's quite busy around here. Yeah.
Wow, that's 2 boys, 2 girls, all boys, all girls.
Yeah, 2 boys, 2 girls. So,
Wow, wow.
yeah.
We have 2 girls. I'm trying for a boy here, so
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
boy.
I don't know if
You
I
guys
got a pointer north or what, but
Yeah, yeah. It's like, like old wives' tales kinda stuff, like, "Oh, do it while you're on your head," or something weird.
yeah, I gotta try that, I guess.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
whatever I hear, I gotta
Whatever
try.
works, yeah. Something to get another Dick Frost out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need someone to
Yeah.
carry this
Dick
thing on. I'm
Junior.
getting too old here. Yeah. Well, technically I am Dick Jr. So
Oh,
like
really? Okay.
yeah, yeah, the same name right down to the everything. It's kind of crazy. I don't like that my dad did that, but I mean, whatever. I actually wanted to name if I have a son, I wanted to name him Hudson because in
Cool.
Arabic, Hud is short for Richard. And so
Nice.
Hudson means Richard, son of Richard, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
That's
Arabic or
cool,
anything, but
yeah.
it's
It's
cool.
it's the same, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome, actually.
Yeah. It's I actually had a friend named Hud once and we talked about that. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Hud." And he was Arabic and he's like, "Yeah, we have the same name." And I was like, "Oh, I don't understand that." And so he explained it and
Yeah,
yeah, Hudson, son of
yeah.
Richard.
That's awesome, yeah. You
Yeah.
learn something new every day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So like how long do you usually keep your podcasts when you're doing them? Like, do you have a
Um
certain time limit, or do you like, hey, we go however the conversation goes?
Yeah, we basically wing it. They usually last around anywhere from half an hour to the shortest is about 35 minutes, and then I think the longest is like an hour and a half kind of thing. It's basically like I just go with the flow. Once I kind of feel like it's kind of just getting to be a long time, then I'm like, all right, well, maybe we'll shut her down or we'll make it a 2-part episode or something if I can.
2 parts. That would be kind of cool. I've
Right.
never had a two-parter.
Part I had one that could have been that long, but I just aired it as one. Yeah,
Wow. My
yeah,
shortest one has been 35 minutes with
yeah.
Donnie Dumphy, and
Okay.
he only had that much time.
Yeah,
I could have kept going forever,
yeah,
right? But Donnie Dumphy's kind of a big deal, so like he's like, hey man, I got time this day. We got to make it work for this day, and I don't have much time, so
yeah,
let's keep it this way. And so it made I thought time restrictions right was going to be hard, but you know we had this conversation on the podcast a couple weeks back. When you're restricted, right,
mhm,
your best work comes out, right? Because you're
yeah,
forced to kind of improvise a bit, right? And
yeah,
you got to use what you got. So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. I
yeah,
enjoy
man.
podcasting. I think it's I really enjoy it. Like,
Same. I like getting to
yeah,
know other people, peeling back the layers,
yeah,
and just having conversations, especially with someone like who was also a podcaster who experiences the same stuff.
yeah,
And someone who works in the oil field and podcasting. I wanted
yeah,
to find if there were any oil field podcasts out there, because
yeah,
my other podcast the other podcast that I was a part of, we were doing just all oil field stuff, right? We had the
yeah,
CEO of a major oil and gas company on. We had, it was kind of cool.
yeah,
And so but we also backed ourselves into a corner doing that, right? You
mhm,
you can have all those kind of cool conversations, but with limited people, right? It's oil and gas people. This one here, I'm sort of doing it with whoever I find interesting, doing whatever they're doing, right? And I
yeah,
actually have 2 consultants. I'm not allowed to say where they work or who they work for, but 2 oil field consultants that I know pretty well from time on site that have agreed to come on to the podcast. They want to do it together because they're old buddies. They don't work together anymore, but
yeah.
they're old buddies, and I see them both all the time. So they've agreed to come on, right?
Nice.
And I think that's cool. And then I saw yours when I was looking for
Yeah,
niche specific podcasts, right? And I saw yours, and episode 10, your last one, it had been quite a while, right? And I'm like,
yeah,
well, like, do I want to get into something that I'm not going to be able to hear more of later on, right?
mhm,
So I started going down your social medias because you talked about your social media page, and I looked for it. I found it, and then
yeah,
I found your season 2 coming soon, and it was only posted not that long ago,
yeah,
right? So I found that, and then I was like, okay, all right, I can get into that then, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. That's cool that's how you found me because yeah, I was like, yeah, you messaged me and I think or something. I can't remember how
Yeah, I
we
messaged
just
you.
started
Yeah.
talking and then it was just like off to the races. Like, yeah, I fucking
Yeah,
like,
because I followed you, and then I said, "Hey," and they're like,
yeah.
"Dick Frost, what's up, man?"
Oh yeah,
Right? And
that's right.
then
Yeah, Dick
yeah,
fucking Frost. No way. Yeah,
yeah,
because I was excited when that happened because I was excited too. Like, I was telling my girlfriend, like, I've never got like I think that was around when I got my first video that was starting to go like viral. Not viral like yours, but it was like, I got a few thousand likes on it. But I had before that, I've never even had 100 likes on something unless like I got her pregnant and it was mostly her
Ooh.
friends and family like liking the status, right? Being like, oh, you're
Yeah.
pregnant. Oh my God. And it was like, so I never had anything like that. And then to have I think like 2000 or so. I can't remember how many likes I got, but on that one video, I was so ecstatic. Every 100, I was like, babe, I'd call her up, be like, look at this, like what? And she's like, okay, shut up. Like, and I'll be like strutting through the house. Yeah, I'm TikTok famous. No, no, babe, like,
Dude,
relax.
so
You got 400 likes.
on my main account, I don't know if you follow my main account or not, but
Yeah,
on my main account, I also have another series on there called it's called Terry's Office, I guess. But like I see basically I go in there and annoy the fuck out of my boss and see how long it takes him to kick me out of his office, right?
nice.
And he knows when I walk in, the camera's up. He knows what I'm doing now. The
Yeah,
first one that went up, it went super viral, and it went viral out east where he's from. And he's like, "Man, I've been getting
nice.
phone calls and text messages from like my family and friends back east saying like you're in this video."
Yeah,
Right? So we started a thing. There's like 20 something episodes of it, and
yeah.
it's I get him when he's in a bad mood, like first thing in the morning.
Oh,
Like he's just woke up, hasn't had his
yeah,
cigarette yet. I got him when he first quit smoking in the morning. Oh man, it was
yeah,
crazy. And on his birthday, I walked in just my boxers, and I was like, "Happy birthday to
yeah.
you!" And I was like, and like he's like, "Get your goddamn pants on and get the fuck out of my office." And I'm trying to get him on the throne, but no luck. So
Yeah,
I
that's
gotta
awesome.
follow him into the bathroom to get him, I think.
Excuse me. It's good that you have a boss that's like that though, right? That's cool with that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome because bosses there's it's hard to find good bosses nowadays.
Amen to that.
The guys that actually still care about their employees even just remotely a little bit and are just like, "Hey, like how are you doing? How's things going? Good? Okay."
Yep.
Like, you don't find that you're just a number in an
I still
assembly.
find that I'm just a number, but I mean,
Yeah.
he cares about that number.
Yeah, yeah, he cares
He's
about
like, you
those
know what?
numbers.
This is a good number. I like
Yeah,
that number. That's
yeah,
my favorite number.
that's
you
right.
know?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's hard to find though, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very, very seldom that you find a job
Well,
like
yeah. Yeah, I've talked about that a lot. I owe all of this to him, right?
oh,
Essentially,
yeah,
TikTok on down, right? Like I could have
yeah,
just made them in the truck and not shown anything,
yeah,
and just did that, right? And then I made a video at the out beside the vac trucks and the semi vacs. It was actually a good one. It was an ad for the company basically, and it
nice.
was funny. It was really funny, and I sat on it for a week. Then I sent it to him. I'm like, man, I know their company policy. Can I post this? This is funny. Come on, right?
Yeah,
He's like, let me send it to the owner and I'll get back to you. A week goes by, nothing. So I text him, I'm like, man, how about that video? He's like, go ahead and post it. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, cool. I
nice.
posted it,
Green
man. I
light.
got us work. It got us work. It hooked us up with a pretty decent contract. It's
Really?
good, right? And so he still could have said no more though, right?
Yeah,
But instead,
yeah,
he kind of like encourages it, and he
nice.
pushes it. And when I don't use the trucks in the videos, he's like, "Hey man, why aren't you using the trucks in the videos?"
Yeah.
Like,
Why don't I see
And they
that
laugh at
TCR?
it. Yeah, man, they laugh at
Yeah,
it. They all follow. When I had COVID, I was told to go to my room, keep my mouth shut, and don't post it anywhere. I wasn't that big on TikTok yet. I had 6,000 followers, maybe,
yeah,
but it was all like oil field, right? And
yeah.
COVID just happened to bust out, and he's like, "Man, if anyone finds out you have COVID, they're not gonna call us." He's
Oh,
like, "Don't talk about it on your live. It was pretty much
Right.
spring breakup. So I'm in my room. I went live for 12 hours a day, and I'm just chilling there. Right, I'm getting paid. I had COVID,
Yeah.
right? So I'm
Yeah.
getting paid. So I'm like, I'm getting paid to use TikTok. I think I'm Mr. Big Shot over here, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, there was main office people kept coming in because I kept seeing their name across the bottom, and then the big boss, the owner, came in. I saw him once, and I never spoke about COVID at all. I said, yeah, it's spring breakup, but it got out anyways because other people, there's a group of companies and other people have big mouths, right? So they're like, yeah, Dick has COVID, right? And it's like, well, I guess it's out, right? And I didn't talk
Yeah.
about it. I didn't talk about it at all, but you know, yeah, it was a wild time. It was a wild time during that growth, man. I remember when I hit 10,000 followers and how big of a deal that was to me.
Right.
And like just how like the fucking special video I made for that, whether you were here for Terry yelling at me to get out, or you're here when I sat down on the toilet for the first time to film on the throne with Dick, or you know, maybe you were here for the TCR ad, maybe you were here for this. And it was quite a special video for me, right? Now, you know, I used to celebrate, you know, hitting every 1,000. And then I celebrated, you know, in the 10,000, 20,000. I haven't celebrated in a long time. I haven't really talked about it. Because like, dude, I find a lot of people are just like, they feel like you're bragging about stuff when really you're just excited to share your good news with someone, right?
Yeah,
and they think you're boasting, and it's like, I'm not boasting, man. I'm here. Look at this 2 million view video.
Right?
I'm proud of that 2 million view video. I'm not saying, haha, look at me. I'm saying, man, you know how much work it took to get that.
Right?
You know?
They don't really get that because they think, oh, it's just easy. It's like, no, it's not easy to grow a following, man. It's not, like,
man.
You're talking excited for thousands. I'm excited when I get like, I got 10 followers yesterday. Like, I'm growing. Yeah,
no, that's awesome, man. And I'm happy. I'm happy for anyone that can grow any kind of following. I fucking love that. You know, we're all creators on this app. We need to be supporting each other. Even if I don't agree with your content, I respect the shit out of your grind because I know it's a grind.
It is. It's a grind. It is. It really is.
Yeah,
it's
and
a grind
there's
that
a lot of
goes
creators
unnoticed.
Yeah, I know a lot of creators that I don't follow them anymore because, you know, if I don't like something, I just move forward, right? So, but I don't follow them anymore, and or I don't engage with them. They just sort of disappear off my profile, and you know, I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Yeah.
Right. No, and except for the drama. Except for the drama fucking ridden ones. That takes no fucking skill.
Cole and Tyler.
Oh my fuck!
I've seen that too because I don't follow either of them, but you just like you said, if your TikTok algorithm kind of kicks you into all the oil field stuff, right? So I seen Tyler, and then I seen Cole, and I seen Cole being like Tyler.
Yeah.
Then I seen Tyler being like, I lived in your head for 24 hours, and I was like, oh man, like, these guys are getting angry with each other, but. They look like they could be good friends, you know, if you hung out in a bar or something.
Yeah,
right?
man. They both work out. They're both, you know, they're both fitness guys, right? So like find your common ground and work from there. You know what I mean? You guys both want the same thing. You're both grinding it out for your family. You know what I mean? And you both work in an industry that you love, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And, you know, I don't respect the beef, but I respect both of their foundations of which they grew on. Because Cole, you know, he found level up, level up.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Fat motherfucker.
Level up. Yeah, you're sitting there with your fucking titties hanging out and you drinking beer. I'm like, I'm like, my titties are hanging out and I'm drinking beer. I'm like, I feel attacked right now.
What's happening here? Yeah, no.
And
then Tyler, and then Tyler's informational stuff, right? Like, hey, you need that. You know what I mean? And I respect the hell out of that grind. You know what I mean? Yeah. And oh man, it's crazy. It is a fucking grind, and it's exhausting. It is an exhausting grind.
It is.
Not only am I on TikTok though, right? I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Clapper, YouTube, Twitter, like I've got 35,000 followers on Instagram. I
That's
got
awesome.
22,000 on Facebook. We monetized on Facebook, so that's pretty
Really
cool. Yeah,
awesome.
that was a lot of fun.
Good for you.
That was a lot of fun. And we just hit 600 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're at 605 right now, so that's pretty cool.
Really? That's
YouTube's hard to grow.
It
Twitter,
is.
Twitter's all right. I don't really post that much on Twitter. I just, for the fun,
Yeah.
whatever. I post the podcast there, hoping it gets some push. And then Clapper, I'm semi-verified on Clapper, but the verification. Clapper is like TikTok, except for it's full of bots. So like it's nothing special. But yeah, the comments are weird on it, and it's like, haha, I feel so sorry for you for having to stand in the sun today.
Yeah.
Like they're very robotic.
Yeah.
And like I post some sort of stuff over there, but we were talking about the verification steps now to get the blue check mark on like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Anyone that's verified now has to pay for that. It's $15 a month. You can't just verification is easy to get. You can have 100 followers verified if you pay $15 a month. What the grind for verification just isn't the same. Like I was looking forward to that. That was something I was grinding for, waiting for that verification invite. And it's never gonna come, right? So I have to pay for it if I want it, and I don't want it that bad.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. Well, I'm not. I don't have. I've been trying to get my followers from TikTok to go to my other places now. Like I have a YouTube, I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram, and I have a Twitter, and I have the TikTok. But the TikTok's the only one that I have really gaining followers, right? So I've been trying to get people to go to the other ones, but so I don't really know anything about the getting verified and all that jazz yet. Soon, one day, that's where I'd like to be. So.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Where can people... Oh, sorry. What was that?
I was like, except for I don't really want to pay money.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Where can people find your podcast?
So I'm on Spotify, and I'm on Google Podcasts. I tried to get onto Apple, but then I think I don't. They didn't approve it. So
no,
no, and I don't know.
I think you need a picture or something like that. You need like a thumbnail for Apple.
Yeah, and I had my all my jazz, like I sent it in, but and then it was like waiting to be reviewed, and I think it was like 2 weeks later, it was like denied, and I was like, oh, okay.
Have you tried again?
I haven't since like season 2. Now we're starting to. I'm trying to get in the process right now of doing an online store. People like the logo and stuff, so they want hard hat stickers. I
want a sticker.
Right. Yeah. Stickers is I need stickers. So I'm trying to get that done. I'm in the process of building this online store. And then I got like a prototype ball tee that I made that we're going to make a limited, limited amount, maybe like 50 or 100 of them, and try and push them and stuff like that. Just to not even to make money, but to drum up some money to invest more into the podcast and into doing some skits and stuff like that. Just because like, like I find TikTok fun to just like goof around kind of thing, like make stupid skits and just like to express, I guess, oneself, as you'd say. So basically that's really where we're at right now, is and just got to get out there and make some episodes.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So where can they find you on social media?
So we're on Instagram, Facebook, what else do I got? Like Twitter, TikTok. I think that's about it. YouTube, but again, it's always the Oiltrash Podcast. If you look up Oiltrash Podcast on basically any of those, you'll find me. So, and then eventually here, like I said, I've got my 2 buddies who I think I've picked some really good characters that I'm gonna make some magic with. So I'm really excited to get the ball rolling, and bang off a few episodes, because just just the banter and the play with those guys is good, and they've got different outlooks on things. So I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be magic. We'll be like
Nice, man.
the dollar store trailer park boys, basically.
I can't wait to hear this, man. Like,
Yeah.
I,
Wish up.
I like when there's, yeah, I like when there's when there's a co-host. I like that, element of banter, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And someone asked me today, actually, have I ever considered doing a podcast just by myself, just like talking to myself? And
yeah,
honestly, man, like, what would I talk about? So, like, today I went to work, and it was a really crazy day today, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, right? And I just don't see that happening. I like talking to other people. I like
yeah,
having that banter, right? I like,
yeah,
and the whole video thing. It goes up on YouTube, and
yeah,
surprisingly, a lot of people actually watch it, and
yeah,
it's a lot of fun to see people be like, hey, I like watching reactions, right? Like, you can see people's reactions to things. You can see when you're talking how excited you get by facial reactions, and just things that are happening in the video. It's
yeah.
And that's what I like about it too.
Yeah, doing a podcast by myself terrifies me. It's just like, because I already talk to myself enough as it is. I don't need to like
Yeah.
sit there for an hour and be like, oh yeah. I'd
I
get
already
carried
know
away.
what these voices are saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
good.
same with when I first went live and that's exactly what I found like this to be, actually. Like, when we first started the other podcast, and I was nervous, right? I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I was like, I think we're both nervous. But so uh but when we jumped into it, it was just like going live on TikTok, and that was
Mhm.
my wheelhouse. I love going live on TikTok. I love chatting it up on
I
TikTok
haven't
live.
done it yet. I've wanted to, like, I wanted to do either my episode when I do it with you, or to be my first live, and because I kind of wanted to like amp it up and get my first live, and then like maybe make
Yeah.
like a countdown, and then do my first live when I do my first episode, and like something that's gonna be like, because I've never done a live, right? So I'm less like, it's got to be spectacular. It has to be amazing.
I
And
I I could never do it by myself at first, right? Like, I couldn't.
oh, okay.
Someone either had to be in the room physically with me, or I had to
Yeah.
have a guest, right? And I couldn't do it, right? And
Yeah.
now I prefer to be alone, right? I
Really?
prefer it, right? Because I interact with the comment section, and the less people that are in
Smart.
my live, the better, right? Smaller community, you get to know the
Yeah.
people, you can answer all the questions, you can acknowledge every comment, right? Where you get into those lives where there's thousands of people, right? You can't see every comment. It's just going so fast, right? And I
Yeah.
prefer when there's like 20, 30 people in there, and so even less sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be good, man. Well,
yeah.
I'll have to text you and be like, hey, man, are you home right now? I'm going live. Come on in, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, I sometimes, I honestly, the past, like you said, couple weeks too, same as you, just, I took a break from TikTok and stuff. I was just going through some stuff. I get like, and when we're talking about mental health, and right. So I just kind of been going through this slum kind of thing that it happens like once a year or maybe twice a year. You just get to you're just getting grinded out, right? Like, it's like, oh,
Yeah, man.
oh, breakup. Oh, well, there's no breakup this year. It's just keep working. It's just keep going. And it's like, it's just,
There
I
was
hate
no breakup, man. It went
oh,
from snow to hot, like snow
on.
fires.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There was no breakup. It was just like, oh, we're still working. Oh, and now we're
Yeah.
working more. Okay.
Think of everyone that's off right now, though, right? Because of those
Yeah.
fires, right? There's
Yeah.
no rigs going up in Fox and Valley View
Well,
and all those other places. Fort St. John was evacuated. So,
yeah.
Swan Hills, there's
Yeah.
nothing going on in those areas right now except
A
for
lot of our
firefighting,
stuff is
right?
shut down, actually. Like, we're actually, a lot of our work is shutting down. So we're actually going and rigging
Yeah.
places out this past couple weeks, or not doing new rig-ins, because everybody's, like you said, on hold because the fires are literally everywhere where we're trying to work.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
It's
And that
crazy, man.
guy's gotta be happy that you're still, like, I'm still working, so I shouldn't complain. Just
Yep.
you know, but then again, that's what we were talking about before. Just keep grinding. Don't you complain. You just
No,
you
just
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 keep
keep
going.
going, man.
Yeah.
And that is hard mentally, right?
It is.
I don't
It
know if
is.
you've heard the song by Dax. I don't know if you know who Dax is. He sung the Dear Alcohol song on TikTok, and he's got a song on there right now called "To Be a Man" or "What It's Like to Be a Man," something like that.
Oh shit!
And
I did hear that.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's deep, man. Like
yeah, it is. It
shit,
is. Yeah,
damn, bro. Like
yeah,
that's exactly what it's like.
it is.
Man is nothing unless he's got, what's he offering, right? Well,
Yeah,
what
exactly. Yeah,
the first question asked of a man is, "What do you do for work?"
yeah,
What do you do? And we do that to each other too. Hey, man, what do you do for work?
yeah,
Where do you
yeah,
work? And when I'm getting to know someone, what do you do at work?
yeah,
Right? And for me, like, when I was younger, it was definitely like, oh, you work at Tim Hortons. Well, you know what? That sucks. Sorry for you. You're not a
yeah,
man. I wouldn't say that, but my mentality was that. And now it's like,
yeah.
oh, you're working? Hey, you work at
Yeah,
Tim Hortons and Walmart? Hey, man, you're feeding your family. You're doing whatever you got to
that's
do.
right.
Good for
Yeah,
you. I appreciate that. It's just like TikTok, man. I appreciate the grind no matter what you're doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You get a newfound respect for people.
Yeah. It's a grind, man. And you know what? Like, some people don't want to work away. They don't want to, wreck their body or, so, hey, what are they going to do? Well, what helps pay the bills? You know what I mean? If there's two incomes and this person here is in a white collar job, and you know what, hey, I work at Tim Hortons. You know what I mean? It's not much, but it helps.
Yep, yep. No, for sure.
It's all
Yeah,
that matters.
whatever pays the bills. That's how I got into the. I used to be a field operator at Chevron, and then when COVID hit, uh, it really it fucked everything up for me. My life was going this way, and then
Yep.
COVID hit, and they laid off people because the numbers weren't making sense, and I was one of the newest hires, so I was laid off. I had nothing, and I lost basically everything. I like bankruptcy, like lost everything, and total reset, and took the first job that I could find to put food on the table because I got kids, and it was working as like setting up oil field septic systems, like shit and piss, and that is that is the glory. Like I get up in the morning and smell that shit. That's money to me now.
Honey wagon, buddy. You smell
Oh
shit. I
yeah,
smell dollar bills.
that's
You know,
right. So, and
was
I'm
was that
still
corn or was that a $50 bill? Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
smell
there's a
that.
lot of corn. We see a lot of corn, that's for sure. Yeah, and I just took what I could get. I was like, I need to feed my fucking family, so I
Yep,
need to be
100%.
working. And then I took this job, and I was like, I'm not young anymore, and this is it. The rig moves and shit. Everything's fucking heavy when you're doing a rig move.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And it's
yeah.
always like 4 a.m. start, like
Yeah.
and then we got
Crazy.
in now we've just got into like cleaning cleaning the rigs and washing them. So you seen me there. I was on that one video I was cleaning
Yep. Yep.
cleaning the tanks out.
That's what I
What?
do. That's what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I gotta go for a pee really badly. So
Yeah.
you entertain and talk and do whatever you gotta do. I'll be
I
right back.
will.
All right. Tell us where we can find you. Talk about your podcast.
Sure. So yeah, you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, what else, Twitter. I don't know, but if you YouTube or anything, just at Oiltrash Podcast, you can find me on all those kind of sites for social media stuff. And yeah, other than that, not really sure. Not much other than that. And enjoy a nice PBR every now and then, and working on my deck, building things. Yes.
All
There we
right. I'm back. Oh man,
Perfect.
that's like 3 or 4 water bottles worth I've been holding in for a little while.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, it's been great. Woo.
Perfect.
Yeah, man. So I'm not gonna keep you too long there. But
Sure.
I usually like to ask one question there before we go, and it's perfect that you haven't listened to the podcast yet, because some people are like, "Ooh, I got my answers ready," when I talk to them, and they're avid listeners, I guess. And
Yeah.
so Mount Rushmore has four of the most influential people in American history on it, right?
Mhm.
Maybe not in American history, but old America, I guess. Depending on who you talk to. So, who would be on your Mount Rushmore? Who would be the four most influential people in your life, and why?
I like that. That's a good question. I guess influential people, like I would go, my dad would be on there for sure. Um, Ryan Reynolds, probably.
Funny man. Hollywood. Hey,
Yeah.
Vancouver, funny man.
Oh man, he's fucking hilarious. I love Ryan Reynolds. Two more. You know what? Betty White and I guess the last would have to be, or like, do they have to be real people?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Fake people could be fake. Could
Yeah,
be
sure.
like fictional characters.
I'd probably throw Batman on there. I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
Somebody. Yeah.
Why not? Why not? I'm
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah. I'm Batman. Yeah.
They
So I
don't. They
or
don't care.
Pac-Man, one of the two. Maybe a
Pac-Man.
Ninja Turtle, something.
So Betty White, eh? Like that follows right after your second one, because Ryan Reynolds loves Betty White.
I know, yeah, Betty White is. I find Betty White's like, the Golden Girls and stuff,
Was.
like, yeah, that's right, yeah, what? Yeah, I mean,
Fucking COVID.
I've got Betty White socks, and people are like, "Why the fuck do you have Betty White socks?" It's like, better question is, why the fuck don't you have Betty White
That's
socks?
that's the
Like,
real question here. Why don't you?
yeah,
I'm starting to question why I don't.
yeah, no,
I'm
exactly.
going to get out. I'm going out and getting Betty White underwear now.
Yeah, you need some Betty White swag. It's just the way
Oh,
to go. Yeah. No,
absolutely.
those would be my four. My dad is my biggest one there, I guess, that I'd admire too.
You know what? People have asked me this, like after I've asked the question, a couple of people have, and it's changed for me over the course of time a little bit when I got to thinking about it a little bit more. My dad's also on my Mount Rushmore, probably at number one, but
Yeah.
not for the reasons that everyone, would have their dad on there. My dad's on there as a reminder of who I shouldn't be. My dad is up there
Oh,
as like a beacon of like, hey man, choose another path, be different.
yeah.
Today's his birthday, and this will be the fourth birthday in a row I haven't called him, right?
Really?
And we don't get along, right?
Oh, okay.
It's not, yeah, we still get along, and he's not a good person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that hurts a little bit, because growing up, every boy looks up to their dad as Superman,
They do.
right?
They do.
That
Yeah.
that's Superman, right? And when you grow up and you realize, damn, Superman wasn't a good person, right?
Yeah.
And that stings. That hurts,
Yeah,
right?
that's tough. Yeah.
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 So
Well, sorry to
he's
hear
up
that.
there. Nah, hey man, you know what? I've come to terms with it, and that's part of my mental health, right?
Yep.
My mental health journey, it was finding out why I am the way I am, why I joke around the way I do, why I talk the way I do, and a
Yeah.
large part of it is my childhood, right? And it's basically dark humor to get around that,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, and when I went down a deep dark hole, and what I found down there was I didn't like the person I was, and who maybe I was becoming, and it was a lot of him, right? So I went the other way, right? And so my dad's up there for that reason. He's number one. Hey man, don't be that guy. Be different,
Yeah.
change, but also in the same light, right? Also in the same light. The more I tried not to be like my father, that's still my dad, right? I am still my father's son. We definitely have a lot of the same qualities, right? And it depends on what I want to do with those qualities. Do I use them the same way that he did, or do I use them for better,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So I'm working towards better, right? Every day is a work in progress. So
Perfect. That's
yeah,
awesome.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this has been a lot of fun, and dude, I love that you wanted to come on, and I love that you want me to be on yours, and I can't wait.
Hell
I
yeah.
I I really can't wait. I love going on podcasts, and I love contributing to other people's stories and whatnot and episodes. So I'm pretty excited.
Awesome. No, yeah, me too. I'm pumped that you're coming on mine, and that I was actually excited to do this. So thank you very much for having me on your podcast.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah. I'm I'm good. Are you good? You got anything else you want to
I'm
say?
good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, definitely good. My kid's been crying here for a
Oh
little
yeah.
while,
All
so
right.
it's like,
All right, man.
oh man, the old lady just came out and just looked at me. I was like,
You got the
mm.
look,
It's
and it
like,
wasn't the
honey,
look you
a
wanted.
few more seconds, honey. I swear to God, then you come out of the bedroom. Yeah. No.
Oh, okay, buddy. I won't keep you. I won't keep you then. You have a good night,
Awesome. You
and
too.
you stay frosty.
Yeah, I definitely will. I like that. Like that, like closing catchphrase.
I've been saying
Perfect.
it for a while, but stay frosty. It just works.
Yeah,
So why the
it
fuck not?
does. It does.
All right, buddy. Well,
Thank you for
keep you.
having me.
No,
Appreciate it.
thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Peace.